Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And also Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe of Cortland. Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America and also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And our thoughts will go out to some of the incidents that's been happening over in Europe. So hopefully everybody remains safe. I want to say thank you so much, Canada. Whoa, Canada, our home and native land. Big C, you can't even hate on me for singing it that well, Big C. Even though it's two lines, it was still pretty good, Big C. And also, there's no one I love more than them good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, when you think about it, Trump, Canada is part of that British Union and all, but, you know, I forget about some of these things and thinking about some songs you tried to sing.
Yeah.
It's cold, Trump, it's cold back here, you know, and it's much for the old dude. I've been going out getting the big game lifted on the joint.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, Big C, and so much going on in the world of sports. And we have a lot of things happening in the NBA tonight with NBA basketball. A couple of guys trying to act like they're Mike Tyson. You know what it's like when you go to the club and you got your girlfriend and some guy steps on her shoes, right? And she looks at you like, aren't you going to say something to him? And you realize it's Mike Tyson. You're like, honey, it's okay, I'll buy another pair of shoes, Big C. You ever have that thought, Big C?
There's a song called Fake Love, and when you look at the NBA, it's always like a fake fight.
Yeah.
You got these big men, and they're supposed to be sharpshooters, you know what I'm saying, with the basketball.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be able to put the little ball in this little hole.
Yeah.
You put the twist on face, you know?
That's funny.
I don't want to see anybody injured, but
Yeah.
you was in striking distance of somebody, and you didn't even strike them.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things when you look at professional sports, I guess it's anybody wants to ever learn how to fight, they should go to a hockey game.
Yeah.
And how the real sports fighters are.
Oh, yeah.
The hockey games to learn how to punch.
Yeah.
So, but with Lopez and Ibaka last night, Ibaka has to be a little more astute than what he was last night because you get suspended.
Yeah.
You're the number 6 seed team, Charlton, in the East. All of a sudden, you could be out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know Chicago's not going to be there. They're the number 10 seed.
Yeah.
And, you really hurt the team down the road. Hopefully no suspension will come from this. The fines are going to come, but hopefully Commissioner Silver will understand that, hey, this is one of those things that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Men react.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to walk away, but men react.
They always react. Big C, I want to say, speaking of reaction, this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. And also, Big C, we know about the fighting game. There are a lot of times, I did some martial arts back in the day. I watched a lot of the MMA. We cover some of these tough fighters in the UFC and in the world of MMA, these guys that grab and kick. I think one of the most graceful fighters is Floyd Money Mayweather. Reminds me a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard back in the day because they're not that big, but they're very skilled men. And these guys, the best fighters in the world, you never hear about them going out into a nightclub or getting into a fight with somebody just because somebody's talking tough, Big C.
Floyd got into a fight, and I kind of resent you calling him a fighter. I mean, he could have been on Saturday Night Fever with John Malone, so he was a good dancer.
Yeah.
But, a couple of years ago, he got into a fight in a Vegas casino with this rapper called T.I.
Yeah.
What he got into it, so, and he threw more punches against T.I. than he ever did in the fight.
That was staged, Big C. It's like the thing, if you remember that day, back in the day when Mike Tyson used to fight down in Vegas and they had Tupac and they had, who's that big brother, Suge Knight, that had Tupac set up, Big C? There were 7 shots or 15.
You should be careful about what you're saying about Suge.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, Suge. I like Suge. I've always admired Suge Knight, Big C. Who was that guy, Vanilla Ice, that they were going to throw him out of a high-rise building? Remember that day? No, we would leave Suge Knight alone. I'd rather talk about Donald Trump if you believe that. Of Donald Trump of all people. Okay, there's so much crooked about this guy, and we have all the FBI, the CIA on him. Would you believe that Rush Limbaugh never talked about this gambling ring with the Russians that he has at Trump Tower that's being funded by taxpayers, Big C? Yeah.
Even today, in Fox News coverage, they're trying to find ways to send everything the past 2 days that Trump has said and the FBI has said against him and all of that. They're trying to find a loophole that people are after him. I mean, Director Comey's been straight out and forward about where they are.
Yeah.
And, now they're trying to say that this world court or whatever it is, put out this illegal, warrant.
Right. Right.
He was collateral in whatever else that was going on.
Yeah.
So, but, if he wasn't doing so much dirty, why is he not speaking?
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing about it. You're the president of the free world. And,
For now. For now.
If you want to know about these warrants, all you have to do is call the people into your office.
Yeah.
You have that much power and authority. So, if you ever wanted to eliminate the speculation, all you have to do is make a phone call to have everyone in your office. That's the phone call that you're scared to make. It's almost like the movie Friday the 13th. When you heard the movie about the music with Jason,
yeah.
Every time Trump hears that, his butt gets a little light.
Hey, can you do that? Can you do that sound effect again, Big C? I think we might get that added by iHeartRadio, okay? I love that sound. It's almost like the movie Jaws. When you heard that sound, and this is why a lot of black Americans don't take radios to the beach. When you hear that sound coming, you know it's time to get out the water. Big C, that make any sense? Yeah.
But it's always ironic when you look at the movie and the white participants in the movie, they see the fin, they raise up the fin.
Yeah.
Tell you that it's not human.
Well, one time I was down in LA swimming on the beach and I saw this fin come up out of the water. I didn't hear the music, so it kind of caught me by surprise. I saw this fin come up out of the water, so I got out the water, Big C, and I'm screaming, run, run, run. It was Mr. T, Big C. He has that big old fin on the top of his head. It wasn't a shark, but it scared me anyway, Big C. But yeah, I just think, in the world of sports, we have March Madness and we have POTUS with the gambling ring of all places, of all people.
I think March Madness in Washington.
Yeah.
That's where real madness is. Every day, all day.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard from Kellyanne Conway. Do you think she might be hanging out with Larry Bird right now?
Hey, wherever there's money, she sends to the show up. I hear wherever there's smoke, there's fire. And sometimes, and I know you can only laugh about it because this is what catches me by surprise. We've been around some very, very wealthy people. We know you got a lot of money, Big C. You travel all over the world. And a lot of times, when you're wealthy, you have access to everything that the human mind can conceive of. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. But these wealthy men who have everything at their beck and call, they usually make a phone call and they order whatever they want the same way you order pizza, okay? And then when people find out, they go, oh, I'm so shocked that Donald Trump's involved in a gambling ring with the Russians, Big C. Does that make any sense, Big C?
I think the naivety of his base right now, Charlton, is what's the most shocking part of America.
Yeah.
This is a man who ran on a platform of Make America Great. He's the lowest presidential rating in the history of modern presidents.
Yeah.
And, we haven't seen anything in his platform that is about what he's talking about. His biggest thing has been this immigration ban. That he constantly keeps messing up on, that he can't get correct, and every judge turns over because they tell him it's a joke. So that lets you know the legal staff that he has with him at the White House.
Yeah.
So if we ever facing a real issue, what would be the issue with Donald Trump?
Yeah.
And so look upon his lack of intervention into U.S. society, policy, economics. It's like everybody's over the stock market going so high.
Yeah.
People don't realize after Director Comey testified that day, the stock market fell over 200 points.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a direct tie into the president.
Yeah.
That, his economics came from that. So he took all the credit when it was going up. He's going to take the credit for it going down, Charles.
Yeah.
You look at the clearance that he's gotten for his family, which is unprecedented in the world of politics. And these people, to have the security clearance for his family, and he has not divested of business, so he's using the White House power to make him and his family even wealthier.
Yeah.
And he's not creating jobs in America, he's creating millions and millions for
but I disagree. Big C, I disagree. He is creating jobs. The reason a lot of what he calls immigrants want to come to America, just like the Russians do, the people in Mexico found out about that illegal gambling ring that he's running at Trump Tower, Big C, and now they even have the CIA to do the bodyguard, Big C. Does that make any sense?
I guess if you make the money, you'll do that, but they always talk about illegal immigrants coming in and influencing jobs that Americans want.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a white guy walking up and down the street with a leaf blowing his back in a long time.
Yeah, a long time. That's funny, Big C. And I know in the world of business, you can only get real sports talk on Big C Sports every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. Also, it just brought to my mind, I love beautiful things. I love flowers. I love tattoos. I met this fitness model by the name of Athena Addison. You can tell people who work out, Big C, and the body art is amazing. And I bring that up because when I look at what's happening with Trump Tower and also March Madness, there's always a diagram that you can follow for March Madness. We're trying to get to the Final Four. We know everybody really is a prelude to the Final Four to grab this $1 billion that's on the line for college basketball and the free labor. But it seems like at Trump Tower, there's more than $1 billion on the line, Big C, when they have all this gambling going on for decades, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, there's billions of dollars chopping it out there. Money laundering comes in many ways.
Yeah.
And when you're tied to, there's a link, there's too many words that tie the name Trump.
Yeah.
Other things that are going on, Charles.
Yeah.
For him to be innocent.
Yeah.
When he's running scared, you're the most powerful man in the world and you duck questions, legitimate questions from the media.
Yeah.
He is not calling the national media now fake news. He's not doing that.
No.
That's the one thing. If people listen to his oratory,
yeah.
the one thing that he has stopped saying is that the national media is fake news, and he is starting to point at other news outlets such as Fox saying, well, I got my information.
Yeah, from somebody else.
So why don't you question them?
Yeah.
But you're the president of the free world, Charlton. You have a staff of national security that briefs you on everything, Charlton, that's going on. You even know the price out at the car wash.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
The price of eggs is the change. And I don't think he drinks milk. He looks lactose intolerant.
You think his president is lactose intolerant?
Changes in society. He hasn't bought a newspaper forever. He's one of those guys that when somebody's got the door, he goes in there and takes 2 hours.
That's funny, Big C.
When you have the security staff and this information staff from you, the president, why are you relying on some frivolous news cable outlet for your information? It's just like what I said. If you want to find out what's going on as far as this alleged wiretapping and this alleged, subpoena that was given by the world court to find out what's going on in Trump Tower, you have the ability as the president. But if you ask the wrong questions, you get an answer that you really didn't want to get, Charlton. And I think that's the quandary he's in right now, is that he doesn't want to ask the questions because he knows of his overall situation.
He also just needs to release his tax returns, and then he can show the American people what his real tax policies are, because the man doesn't pay much in taxes, even though they tried to say he did back in 2005. I want to say that also that this is for Donald Trump, too. Sports is $1 billion industry, and just like the gambling ring at Trump Tower, betting in Vegas is legal, Big C, but there's a lot of betting that goes on outside of Vegas. Donald Trump can attest to that. But I want to say boys and girls sports is the foundation of this $1 billion billion-dollar industry. If you follow Big C Sports, we bring you real talk from politics, the world of Hollywood, and also sports, and we do it every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the iHeartRadio network, which is the #1 media network in the United States, Big C. And when it comes to the #1 media, I just want to get your thoughts when it comes to March Madness. For the betting line for Thursday night, we have Kansas. They're 5-point favorite over Purdue. Kansas coming out of the Big 12, Purdue coming out of the Big 10, even though they have about 19 schools, Big C. I like the tradition of Kansas. In fact, they're there all the time. Your thoughts on Kansas being a 5-point favorite? Is that too low? Is that something for Las Vegas to have more people put money on Purdue? Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, that's for Powell to lay money on.
Yeah. Yeah.
This tournament, you and I discussed that I like Kansas.
Yeah.
I like their opportunity to get to Phoenix, Arizona. And, this has been a program of consistency. And when you watch this team that stuff is put out on the floor, Charles, they're tremendous talent.
Yeah.
And, they're not led by one superstar. I mean, we got teams out there with a superstar. But Kansas is a team of budding concept players.
Yeah.
That know how to go out and help each other out, Charlton, and they've had a history of that.
Yeah.
And the way that they play, Purdue has had a tremendous season coming out of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The Boilermakers, won the conference and got to the tournament. They were one of the couple teams left from the Big Ten. The Big Ten is very well represented in the Sweet 16.
They are.
But I like Kansas out of the Big 12 getting to where they need to get to, Charlton.
And also, we look at Michigan. They're a 1-point favorite over Oregon. I like Oregon because I thought they played really a kind of a bad game, and they finally got the bad game out of their system. I like the way they're playing. Gonzaga against West Virginia. They're a 3-point favorite. Gonzaga, this is the point of the season where Gonzaga starts to have a little bit of a problem. West Virginia coming out of the Big 12, they can run the ball up and down the court. I know Gonzaga has a big man, but your thoughts on Gonzaga? They're only a 3-point favorite, and at one time, Big C, they were the #1 ranked team in the country until they lost at home their final game to BYU. Your thoughts on that point spread only being 3 points?
Well, when you look at the history of Gonzaga, Charlton, getting to this point, there's a road of scattered dreams.
Yeah.
That has been left behind by Gonzaga that, people have given them high rankings going into the tournament.
Yeah.
But they get deep for it. And this is the part of the tournament that tells how deep your bench is, Charlton, because you got so many games being played against high caliber talent.
Yeah.
Okay? Every game. You don't have that weak game on the schedule where you can just go out there and blow people out.
Yeah.
These games are going to be highly contested. This is really going to show Mark Hughes' worth as a coach. Everybody is saying Gonzaga's this a mid-major, tournament and break regular season.
Yeah.
So if he can get into the Elite Eight, Charlton, which I think his team really does have a chance. And once again, you named another one of those Big 8 schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look at the representation of the Big 8, Charlton, or the Big 12, whatever it is, these conferences have so many teams.
Yeah.
And the Big 10.
Yeah.
If you're a big man, and I really have to go by Trump Plaza, the place to bet.
Yeah.
You got to bet on the Big 10 and the Big 12 as far as winning the championship.
Yeah.
When you look at the number of teams from those two conferences, they dominate the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And you look at Gonzaga 31-4, West Virginia's 28-8. That game's going to be Thursday in San Jose, California. I'll be down there in San Jose covering that game, Big C. And also Xavier 23-13. They're going up against the Arizona Wildcats at 32-4. I'm looking for Arizona to get that game. Xavier had a lot of losses on the season. They started playing well later in the season, but this to me is a game that has Gonzaga and Arizona on a collision course. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Arizona was also one of the pre-tournament favorites, Jonathan. I think people, a solid West Coast foundation. They're still playing on the West Coast, so everything is a semi-home game for them.
Yeah.
They're not having to travel. They got their fan base. You think about how far California and Arizona's away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you going to the beach. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So, Arizona is a team of destiny, and when you have the championship game, Jonathan, it's the Final Four, being basically played in the background of your own university.
Yeah.
University of Phoenix Stadium. And the University of Arizona is right there in Tucson. So this is a team that's really motivated, because if they make it back home to the Final Four, you talk about a team with the ultimate home court advantage, Jonathan.
Yeah.
That's Arizona.
That's true, Big C. Another game, 2 more brackets, that's going to be played in Memphis, Tennessee on Friday, March 24th. Butler 25-8 versus North Carolina 29-7. I think North Carolina has been to March Madness more than any other program in the country, Big C. And also, what I really love to see is a game that should most likely be a game that would be your final game, the championship game, Kentucky 31-5, with the one-and-done Calipari against Alford with UCLA Bruins 31-4. That game, to me, is the game that's going to send a team to the national championship no matter what they have to get through. Just because the style of play, I know UCLA had them down 13 points back at Rupp Arena back in the day earlier in the season, Big C. Both teams are better. I think Lonzo Ball, he reminds me like Magic Johnson when it comes to passing the ball. And I don't see either team getting worse than what they were the first time they played. And right now, we're looking at a very close point spread with UCLA. It's kind of a pick-em, then it goes to 1 point. I know Donald Trump would rather see the team from the South win because he likes bourbon, but I'm looking at the West Coast. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I think Donald Trump is popular.
Yeah.
You realize Calipari just got a pay raise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
You think about it, John. You and I have talked about the egregious contracts that these coaches have.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that they make. And this game, you think they'll be played in Memphis?
Yeah.
So I guess Elvis may be in the building.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, Elvis and Tupac.
Got a pay raise that they're talking up to $7.2 million a season.
How much?
Think about this. $7.2 million a season.
How many
And
points?
I'm not saying he's not worth every penny, Charlie, because when you look at the prestige that he's brought to the University of Kentucky,
Yeah.
and the consistent run within the NCAA tournament,
Yeah.
you know, it's done very well by coaches.
Yeah.
But, you know, we talked about players not getting a dime. They get a Subway sandwich, but they can't get a dime.
Yeah.
And you wonder why players are one and done.
Yeah.
When it comes to the University of Kentucky. And I'm not saying because this is a great program, but they know the amount of money that they're making for the coach.
Yeah.
Let me get on out of here and make a little money for myself.
Yeah.
But when you think about that reason, Jonathan, when you have UCLA, there's also talk about Alford.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Oh, he's going to Indiana. He's going. You know what? You know why he's going to Indiana, Big C? The reason he's going to Indiana is before this season, there were a lot of UCLA alums saying we don't need this guy and we need to find somebody else who can build the Bruins program again. They expanded Pauley Pavilion, and now he's doing the best he can do with UCLA. If he wins another national championship, what else can he do to make his stock higher going back to his home state of Indiana? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, his stock is higher than whether he wins a championship or not. You got to realize UCLA is going to lose its top 4 players this year. Also,
Yeah.
Alfred's son is going to graduate, so 5 players that he's very close to
Yeah.
in that program will not be there next year. So next year will be a rebuilding year for UCLA.
Yeah.
Now, who goes to Indiana? You know they're going to give him a 6 to 7 year contract.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But he's also got a 3-year grace period. Because he said he's got to be able to say, I need to get my recruiting classes in here.
Yeah.
If you can look at what I did when I was at the University of Iowa
Yeah.
as a coach, it took me 4 to 5 years to build that program, as well as it has at UCLA. It's taken me 4 to 5 years to put that program back in prominence on the national level.
Yeah.
So he's going to easily get a pass in going back to Indiana, Charlton, being one of the highest paid players in college basketball, because when you think about the coaches out there, Charlton, on the national college level,
Yeah.
that have won championships, there's probably a lot there, Charlton, that have won more than 2 national championships.
Yeah.
Make that 3 coaches that are active that have won more than 3 national championships. 2 national championships. So, you know, he's going to be in rarefied air.
Yeah.
If he wins the championship, he doesn't have to win it in UCLA because he can go back to Indiana and he's going to be put on that pedestal.
Oh, yeah.
So he really has nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I agree with that, Big C. And also tonight here in the NBA, we'll touch on that. The Sacramento Kings at home versus Tucumbo. This guy is amazing. And the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm just going to give you the point spread right now. Is 3.5. Milwaukee's the favorite at Sacramento. Utah's a 10.5 point favorite over your favorite team, the New York Knicks, with the posse on Broadway. And, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're a 4-point favorite at Denver. It's kind of tough to play at Mile High. That's a game where Denver can kind of give them a run for the money. Oklahoma City, 11-point favorite over Philadelphia. Washington is a 7-point favorite over Atlanta, and they're at home. Chicago, we talked about Chicago a lot yesterday with the passing of the great owner that helped build the Chicago Bulls into a championship. Yeah, really, again, our condolences to his family. And the Boston Celtics, they're an 8-point favorite over Indiana, and Charlotte's a 5-point favorite over Orlando. But Big C, I want to go back to your comments on the fight. That really was not a fight with Lopez and them good old boys. NBA players are not trying to fight. I believe, like Billy D. Williams, aren't they lovers and not fighters? Big C, that make any sense?
They want that smoothness.
Yeah.
How can you miss somebody 2 feet in front of you?
Yeah.
You can throw the basketball through the rim on a dunk, and you can miss someone's head who's about the same size.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the NBA and Adam Silver, Adam's been busy the past couple of days. So,
Yeah.
You know, he came out on his stance about superstars sitting.
Yeah.
But, you know, they owe it to the network, not the fans.
Yeah.
In his statement, they owe it to the network.
Oh, they pay the money.
And so, you know, when you think about the commissioner saying, we don't give a, he said in a backdoor hand slap,
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about the fans. I
Right.
care about the networks and the ratings.
Right.
You know, that's what he said. So people have to also look into what the commissioner said, not the players sitting down. And it's more important for them to have TV ratings because that's where they're making their money.
Yeah.
Not the buck sitting in the seat. They don't care about those kids that the parents work real hard to
Yeah.
buy a ticket for that one run that superstar may be coming into town. But this goes back something. If you look back about a decade ago when the NBA went on strike, okay, well, maybe a little longer than a decade.
Yeah.
They played 50 games in one season. That was the most intensified season in NBA history. They struck at the beginning of the season. One of the things that you said an advocate for
Yeah.
with the African-American athletes. And
Yeah.
when the NBA went on strike, that was the African-American athlete taking your stand.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the one time that the African-American athletes were able to control the white owners and all of the professional sports. They said, we're not going to play.
Yeah.
And so they didn't play. And
Yeah.
the owners had to succumb to what these players' demands were as far as more financial recognition and parity of the money that was being doled out.
Well, Big C, that makes a lot of sense what you're saying. And I would just love, you know how analytics has been the buzzword for the past couple of years, whether it's the NFL or the NBA or ESPN and CBS Sports and NBC and all them good old boys that want to talk about analytics. I hope they do an analytic study on why they take an African-American quarterback who's been to the NFC Championship game twice, who tries to feed hungry people all over the world, and who takes a cause against police brutality, and these old white boys that own NFL teams, they want to boycott him. I think all the black players should come together and boycott the NFL for the first 2 weeks, and I see if they're going to make that $27 billion revenue that Goodell is talking about making in the next 10 years. Would that make any sense, Big C?
Well, Charles, if you look at all the quarterbacks that are out there on the free agency market, and Romo hasn't gotten it yet, but he eventually will be there. But you look at Tony Romo.
Yeah.
You look at Bobby Hoyer. You look at Mike Brennan. You look at Brock Osweiler, who was traded basically a free agent.
Yeah.
And there's Jay Cutler. There's 8 major quarterbacks out there on the free agent market.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, Colin Kaepernick, of all those quarterbacks, those 8 quarterbacks out there in the free agent market,
Yeah.
has won twice as many games as all playoff games.
Yeah.
As all those quarterbacks combined. And that's the thing that you have to look at. You know, people will say, well, you know, Tony Romo said, well, you know, he didn't have a good team. So, so when he said, well, it's all about him.
Yeah.
When he's not playing well, the team's not that good. And that's what people want to say about Colin Kaepernick. You know, this kid made it to the Super Bowl, Charles.
Yeah.
He was one pass away from being a Super Bowl champion. And it should have been an interference call on that play.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of that is where we are now, about the African-American quarterback. People want him winning, you know, this nail biter at the end of the game, so you cut the flag away.
Yeah.
And you know, he made it to the Super Bowl. The following year, Charles, he made it to one game of the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
And, you know, he beat some of the best quarterbacks in the league in those 2 years.
He beat
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And anybody else who wanted to show up.
Matt Ryan beat him too.
He beat all these quarterbacks, Charlton. And so people saying that he can't do it. He was beating these quarterbacks, Charlton. Everybody said, well, he's on a good team.
Yeah.
But basically, he had nothing to do with it. And he set a rushing record against Green Bay.
Yeah.
In one game, I believe he had 181, 183 yards rushing.
Yeah, rushing.
In a playoff game, had over 400 yards in offense.
Yeah.
Look at the QBR rating last season, Charles.
Yeah.
His quarterback interception ratio, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, Charles. Only 3 quarterbacks have equal or better touchdown interception ratio than what Colin Kaepernick had last year.
Yeah.
No one said anything about this. He was on a pathetic team, Charles. And he still had one of the top 3 QBR ratings in the NFL. And people are saying he can't play. But he was on a bad team, so no one is knocking the bad team. Everybody's knocking Colin Kaepernick. And I think it's totally racial.
Yeah.
What the president did. It was totally racially motivated. It wasn't anything else. And people want to say, well, he's unpatriotic. You know what unpatriotic is, Charlton, in America?
Yeah, gambling at Trump Tower with the... Yeah. Yeah.
Is going in and shooting up the church, okay?
Yeah.
That's unpatriotic, Charlton. Going in and shooting up a movie theater, Charlton, that's unpatriotic.
Yeah.
Going in and shooting up a grammar school, Charlton, that's unpatriotic. And this was done by white guys, Charlton.
Yeah.
Don't say they were unpatriotic.
Yeah.
Now, one person in the media said that these white guys that went in and killed multiple Americans were unpatriotic.
Well,
that's unpatriotic. Not a guy who was not threatening anybody, Charlton. Not a guy that's taking a stance, trying to be a bring awareness, and the awareness that he was bringing, Charlton, to the unpatrioticness of America.
Yeah.
That was unpatriotic to treat a culture of people like they've been treated and saying that it's acceptable. But when he brings awareness to it, you want to call him unpatriotic because of your racism and your racial overtone.
Well, Big C, you know, throughout the history of the United States, African Americans that are intelligent, and it goes back to Frederick Douglass, that's always been something that scared older white men, mostly because of the miscegenation thing. They didn't want white women being with black men in an intimate setting, so they tried to give them all this garbage and washing their brain. Even though everyone should Google Dr. Leahy and Dr. Gregor Mendel, it tells you where all life began in Africa. People are people. I just hope that for people who are intelligent, and I love being bold, there's nothing like a sycophant, a sad person who's always on his knees begging for something. And that's what you find in Big C Sports. We're very bold, but just, research the facts, do your analytics. Yeah.
Was the late Joe Paterno unpatriotic? When he stood on the sidelines with his hands on his chest,
yeah,
doing the national anthem, knowing that the guy next to him, Jerry Sandusky,
yeah,
was molesting young boys.
Young boys, yeah.
Doctor from the U.S. Olympic team,
yeah,
unpatriotic. When he stood there playing as the national anthem, every time they had a female contestant, and he started molesting these 15-year-old girls, was he unpatriotic? They get a pass.
Well,
if you're a racist, you're an assaulter,
yeah,
are you unpatriotic? No. When we think about the NFL, Charlton, there are people in the NFL that are playing today that have been charged with vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated.
Yeah.
Teams feel that they're an asset. Even though they've taken somebody's life, they feel that they're an asset. There are many players in the NFL that have been charged with felonies and convicted charges.
Yeah.
Convicted of felonies. And they're allowed to work in the NFL. We know of no police blogger anywhere on Colin Kaepernick.
No.
And people saying that, well, he's unpatriotic. When you get an unpatriotic president, as much as you want to say make America great again,
yeah,
and his best allies are the Russians, does that make you patriotic? He's having his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, bypass a UN summit next month, Charlton, so he can go hang out with Putin in Russia.
Yeah.
Okay? They got to get their stories together, so he needs to bypass the UN summit where he may be questioned about Russia and can't answer the questions.
Yeah.
So you need to go talk to Putin personally. Spend some time with him.
And
play some ball.
And that's...
This is unpatriotic, not Colin Kaepernick. All the people that are saying that Colin Kaepernick was unpatriotic, they're unpatriotic because they're being racist towards another race of person.
And it's part of the same thing. It wasn't Colin Kaepernick that grabbing women by the vagina and getting away with it, and 12 of them come forward to sue him, and he threatened to sue him. He threatened to sue the women that came forward, Big C, and he's the one bragging about grabbing women in the genitalia, which is also called assault. And I hope that And I hope that no woman has to deal with that garbage, but if you do, just call 911. That's the most important thing, I think. Big C, in the final few minutes, I just want to bring this up to you. We have so much going on, with March Madness, so much going on with POTUS and the Russians with their illegal gambling in Trump Tower of all places. Now he's giving his daughter clearance. He couldn't buy another NFL football team because they didn't want the good old boy behavior that they already knew it existed, Big C. But I want to get your thoughts on the final thing tonight. We have this World Baseball Classic Championship. Puerto Rico and the USA-Japan winner going to be in Los Angeles. I tell you, there's so much going on in the world of baseball. Going to be covering the San Francisco Giants and also the Oakland A's coming up this year, and the LA Dodgers as well as the LA Angels too, Big C. Just your thoughts on this baseball classic. I think it's some beautiful baseball, but it's just being overshadowed by the March Madness, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
We've had some of the best baseball that we can possibly see.
Yeah.
And don't see.
Yeah.
Ironic with the World Baseball Classic, the U.S. and Puerto Rico tonight playing in Los Angeles. And this is what Donald Trump fights against, the Hispanic influence.
Yeah.
When you think about this game being played at your regime,
yeah.
probably 2/3 of the crowd, Jonathan, would be Hispanic.
Yeah.
Spending dollars on American soil, okay?
Yeah.
Investing in America. Buying America first. All those things that Trump talk about, that's what these Hispanics are going to do at the stadium tonight, Jonathan.
Yeah.
You're going to have a packed house of 55,000 people there, Jonathan. 35,000 are going to be Hispanic.
Yeah.
All the people that Donald Trump are fighting against in this country, spending dollars, making America great again. But when you think about the talent on the field also, Jonathan, think about how much Hispanic talent is going to be on the field tonight. Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Even though it's land, property of the United States, that's still Hispanic.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Latin American players that are going to play for both sides. But these are great, tremendous talents that we've talked about. ESPN is going to cover this game on ESPN 2 or 3 tonight.
Yeah.
Not even on the main network. I understand the NIT and all of that, but the NIT supersedes what these guys do and what baseball means to America. Everybody's talking about the Final Four, March Madness.
Yeah.
NIT, as much as you love the young men playing basketball and appreciate all that they give to the universities for free, it's still not March Madness. There's going to be a champion there. That second tier of the tournament, even though players are playing for the league. But you think about the World Baseball Classic and what it means. It's the world, Chelsea.
Yeah.
The world has come together, even with all of the misgivings going on now in the United States. The world of sports means more than the world of politics.
Yeah.
And it supersedes that these countries that we have bans on, that we're fighting against their citizens, not we as a whole, the leadership of our country, are willing to come here and play and show the world that they are positive citizens.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I want to take a point that, people have written a lot on the news, and my sympathies and thoughts go out to this young girl that I believe was in Pennsylvania or someplace.
Yeah.
Was sexually assaulted in his bathroom at school. And done by undocumented citizens in the country. Okay, Jonathan?
Yeah.
And, we talked about this Olympic doctor. How many young girls did he sexually assault? And this incident at this high school gets more attention than this white, rich doctor.
Yeah.
That assaulted dozens and dozens of young girls. And they didn't even have the power to speak up. Yes, this was a heinous act that occurred a couple of days ago, Jonathan. And I'm not warranting it in any kind of way. I think it's criminality.
Yeah, it's criminal.
And they should be prosecuted to the fullest.
Yeah.
Just like this doctor should be prosecuted to the fullest, talking about he's rich and he's white.
Yeah.
And he's gotten a pass for decades of assaulting young teenage girls. And the media doesn't ride him like they want to do these Latin American boys that were here in America. This guy was here in America legally.
Yeah.
Okay? But no one says anything about this, Jonathan. This guy was here legally as an American citizen for helping young girls.
Yeah, and we
passed on it because he was rich.
And we know what happened.
They're going to bury these young boys, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But treat that doctor just like you're going to treat these two boys. Treat him with the same vigor, and go after him in the media. Lambaste him. Show his picture every day on the news, because there was one young girl at Michigan State. They been arrested for 3 years, Charlie.
Wow.
And because you wanted to stay on the gymnastics team, she couldn't say anything. Because if she says anything, all he has to do is tell the coach she can't recover from her injuries.
That's a lot like what happened.
He was something wrong, but he was suspending him, but they allowed him back, even after 3 girls that came forth with the allegations. That's the buddy system, Charlton.
Yeah.
That you let your buddy molest these young girls because, oh, well, we didn't find it out. Well, he didn't take pictures.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
And see,
he didn't find it because he didn't take pictures, but
yeah.
you gave him more credence than these young girls that have been sexually assaulted and came forth to you. This is one of the reasons, Charlton, why so many women in America want to stay away from the embarrassment of telling what has happened to them.
Yeah.
Because they are judged as second-class citizens, but these guys are getting a pass for sexual assault of them. Judges have said, well, she must have wanted that. There was a judge in Canada, that country that you sing this song about, Charlton.
Yeah.
Said one of the most astonishing things about a young rape victim, Charlton. Well, if she would have kept her legs closed, this wouldn't have happened.
And that's horrible.
She was raped, forcibly raped, and the judge had the audacity to stand on his bench and say, well, if she would have kept her legs closed, this wouldn't have happened. This is the abomination of certain parts of society, Charlton, that it's acceptable with good people doing this, and everybody else is a second-class citizen.
And that's the shame about Donald Trump not being able to stand up and defend women who have to deal with that garbage, because he's one of the profilers himself that grabs women by the vagina, and no woman should have to go through that. And you can't be afraid to talk about it. I know the NFL, they'll do it for 1 week, no violence against women, and some of these other sports leagues, they'll have the pink ribbon on for cancer and all that research, and we all need that. But every day, women are assaulted. I just hope women have the courage to call 911. You got to be bold in this world. Yeah.
Look what the judge did to the young lady.
Yeah, you're right.
This was a young teenage woman. They have the courage, but the embarrassment that you have to go through, you're a victim.
Yeah.
And then you're victimized again by the legal system, and you've been exposed for explaining what happened to you. They take you, and the guy is getting a pass. It's like the swimmer at Stanford.
Yeah.
That raped the young girl a couple of years ago, Charlton, behind a trash bin.
Yeah.
You know, she became the victim a second time in court.
Yeah.
Because he got a pass. The judge said, well, you can't waste a great young life like this.
Yeah.
The girl should get over it. That's basically what he said. She'll get over it. We don't want to label him as a rapist, as a criminal.
Yeah.
That's what he did, but we want to allow him to get back out there in society and be successful. Even though this woman is damaged, this young lady is damaged in every way possible.
Yeah.
That you have society, and I'm saying this society is led by white judges that are doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not black judges. These are white judges.
Yeah.
That are allowing these women to be raped. It's pedophilia.
Yeah.
Okay? Every listener, look at your child, look at your son, look at your daughter, and see which one you would want to turn loose to one of these predators and say, well, as Donald Trump, it's just boys being boys.
And see, that's the problem too with Donald Trump, because he can never stand up to say no violence against women, because he's bragged about doing it himself. Big C, in our final segment, I just want to say I want to congratulate the Super 25 women high school basketball team. Number one, it's called Riverdale High School out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They're 34-0. Number 2, St. John's College out of Washington, D.C., 31-2. Number 3 is St. Paul out of Fairfax, Virginia. Paul VI out of Fairfax, Virginia, 32-2. Number 4, Centennial of Las Vegas, Nevada. They are also 31-2. Number 5 is Clovis West of Fresno, 33-2. And those are the top 5 women in the United States. And we want to say, let's look out for our women athletes. I know it's March Madness, and all the men get all the attention, and all the good old boys for baseball get all the attention, as well as boxing and golf and everything else that's going on in the world. But at Big C Sports, we want to say to everyone, let's keep our women safe. Don't make them have to put up with a lot of garbage. Big C, the last thing I want to get your thoughts on again, this March Madness is going on over the weekend. We had the fighting in the NBA. Is Adam Silver, is he going to do anything about making sure that players play without being fined in the final minute? Your thought, Big C?
Well, Charlton, I think he's overstepping the bounds. I mean, they fired teams in the past. San Antonio has been fined in the past, players as well as Coach Popovich and the team. But Adam Silver made a bad statement when he made a statement that we have to be more concerned with our TV ratings and appearance than what we have to be concerned with the fans in the stands, because this is how we make our
Yeah.
You know, the young player for Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
He has to have knee surgery here, Charlton. This man has only played a half dozen games in his 2-year NBA career.
Wow.
And we also look at the number 1 draft pick, Ben Simmons, overall of Philadelphia. He has to have surgery to get on the broken bone he had in his foot. So what you're looking at is that you run these young men in the ground, and you don't care. If you run them in the ground because you figure that the talent is replaceable because it's majority African American.
Yeah.
You know, baseball players take night off all the time, Charlton.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing was ever said about a baseball player taking a night off. But baseball is majority white also.
Yeah.
So there's a different standard.
Yeah.
Everybody in baseball watch guys in the dugout, the stars.
Yeah.
Spitting sunflower seeds, spitting tobacco. Okay?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, these black players in the NBA want a night or 2 off during the season, and it's an atrocity. They've committed a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone to a criminal level for a black player in the NBA to take a night off because he has cost some white revenue, manipulator money.
That is very powerful, Big C. We gotta always keep it real as we do on the iHeartRadio network. I also want to say Jason Day, he's decided to pull out of the golf tournament. It's called the World Golf Championships through Dell Technologies because of some concerns, I believe, with his mom. So everyone, say hi to your moms when you get the chance to. And as we always say, every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And also Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the Universal Court of Big C and them good old boys down south. We always tell you, there's never any excuse for domestic violence. You do not have to put your hand on a woman. If you do, call 911. And as we always take on every program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.